Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris with Aquatic Ascent, joined today by Shrek and some of my other tanks behind me. I've got my Pleco breeding tank, and I have my quarantine tank, along with my little 5-gallon guppy mess that's just holding guppies for now. Today, I want to talk to you about a super cheap, super easy, and very effective way to add cover to your tanks to make shy fish be more excited and more willing to come out because they have more options for escape. I did a great job of that with my cories. It provides cover to break up aggression. Maybe you have some fish like cichlids that are a little more territorial and can be a bit more aggressive, so you need to break those lines of sight. This is also a material that can create great spawning surfaces for stuff like angelfish or rams, and we're going to get into that today. With that being said, let's get right into the video. We'll kick it off. Some of you may be wondering what this magical material is. Today, we're talking about terracotta. And there's a reason I have a hammer and sandpaper on my little table here. It's because we're going to be taking this piece of terracotta and we're going to be making it into little DIY pieces of cover. Before we do that, I want to just show you some examples of it. I've got right here, over in my Corydoras breeding tank, that they were scared out of their minds. They needed more hiding spaces. So I broke up one of these pots, I created this nice little cover space, and now the cories have a place to hide. As well, I was able to put it into my quarantine tank right behind me, and in here, now I have a space for fish that are new and getting acclimated to not always be under the light. They can kind of swim under that, feel covered, feel safe, kind of be away from my prying eyes, and it's something I can move very quickly to get an eye on fish and see if anything's going wrong, so it's a win-win. Along with that, I also use it more as a piece of decoration in my rainbow tank, just to add a little bit more character to it. I put a broken piece of the pot in, as well as another pot planted with some plants, which is another great use for these terracotta pots. Let's get into some of the terracotta items I have here today. I have some of these flower pots. All they are is terracotta. They're small. It cost me $2 to get a pack of 6 at Home Goods. You can go to Home Depot, basically any home gardening store. You can find terracotta pots there, extremely cheap, which is why they're such good space fillers. Besides these little pots here, which we're going to be planting today, I also have some of these discs. Again, this was, I think, $2 for a pack of 6. I don't work with rams yet, but it's a fish I do have on my list of fish I want to breed, so since they were on sale for Black Friday, I grabbed a few extras. But fish will come and they'll lay eggs right on top of here. Along with that, you can also bust some holes in these to make little cave entrances for different fish. I believe apistogrammas might swim into there and breed. It's kind of neat, all the different things you can do. These are one of the most versatile items that you can use if you're a fish breeder. If you're a beginner fish breeder or you're an advanced hobbyist, I really highly recommend utilizing some terracotta. I know you're all looking forward to me teaching you how to actually break stuff. The best thing about these and being fish keepers is we're going to break these. So if you go to one of these home gardening stores and you see something like this, where it's cracked, I could literally rip this pot in half right now. Actually, that's probably what I'll do to start it off. But I just asked, I said, hey, this pot's broken. You guys probably won't be able to sell it. Am I able to get it at a steep discount? They sold this pot. It was listed for like $3. They gave it to me for 30 cents because it was broken. So I got 2 of these that were busted and were going to go in the garbage anyways for next to nothing. And with that, I'm going to be able to create some cover for multiple tanks. But let's start off with our terracotta pot. We're just going to rip this in half and see what shape comes out, and we'll go from there. Look how easy that was. I feel like Captain America. But this piece, I feel like I can get a lot more out of. So I'm going to take my hammer, and we're going to pop it. I see this crack going here, so I'm going to crack it right along there to get some small pieces. It's a lot smaller than I was hoping for, but it pushed that crack further. Crack that off. Now this top of a pot became an excellent little wall that can just go into any tank, create a little barrier, I can tuck some moss into it if I want to create a spawning area. And well, I got a little pebble out of it too. Whoop-de-doo, this will get sanded and go into my quarantine tank. But I still want to bust up the rest of this pot to make a few smaller hides. So we're gonna bang. Just like that. All it takes is a hammer and a pot, and you've got cover for your tanks. Next thing you're going to do after you've hammered your pots is you're going to take some sandpaper. I used 100 grit. I just kind of grabbed the first one I had on hand. This is 336 grit. It was the closest one I had when I went into my little workshop. And we're going to sand down the sides of this. Before we do that, I just want to mention that this gray part in the middle, because it's a larger pot, it's a bit thicker. Terracotta, before it's fired, is this little gray color. And after it gets fired, it turns that, brown that everyone's used to seeing. So this gray on the inside is the same material. It's not paint or anything. It's just that the internal temperature didn't get as hot in the kiln when they fired all these pieces. So it's not going to be gray or this reddish tan color all the way through. So let's sand this down. I will talk to you guys again after I've sanded all my pieces. Pause the sanding real quick. I want to mention, while you're sanding, you want to rough out any corners. Just kind of smooth them over with your sandpaper, give them a nice little curve, and make sure it won't catch any of your fish's fins. All right, back to the speed up version of sanding.
One hour later.
Awesome. Now that all that's sanded down, we've got some nice little pieces that we can go put in our tanks.
Hey guys, Editor Chris here. I left my mic in the other room while I recorded this section. Long story short, you want to wash your pots and your broken pieces before you put them into your fish tank. Get rid of all the dust from sanding, and in case you picked them up from an aisle where someone sprayed perfume or some chemicals, you want to make sure that you don't get any of that in your tank. So just give them a good rinse before you pop them in your tanks. That's the moral of the story here. Let's get on with it.
We still have some work to do. I have one of my trays here. And what we're going to do, I have some extra aqua soil mixed with sand that I used for a merged growing experiment a couple months ago. And we're going to talk about the benefits of having some potted plants in your tanks. Like I do here, I have some dwarf sage as well as a crypt in my pleco tank. And what this does is it lets you move your plants around without uprooting them, especially when you start getting to a larger scale like I have here. I know I only have 3 tanks behind me, but even in the future, who knows what may become of this. This may become another 10 tanks if everything's going well, or you guys want to see some crazy projects worked on. And, I could always use an excuse for more fish tanks. So we're going to plant these pots. All we're going to do, we're going to take our old aqua soil with these homemade root tabs. See, I did not make these root tabs. I can't take credit for them. I don't know what's in them. They've been working well for me. I had a fellow fish keeper that retired their room. I bought a bunch of stuff from them and they threw these in with it. So we're going to put a tab in the bottom of each one after we put some sand and aqua soil in. So we'll fill up a little first. Make a bit of a mess while we're at it, but that's what this plastic tray is for. We'll stick a root tab in each one. I have my root tabs planted with some aqua soil and sand. I'm going to cap that with straight sand so I don't have aqua soil just floating around my tanks, because I don't think that's pretty. And as much as I go for functionality in my room, I also like my fish room being pretty. So I'm going to cap it with about 1 inch of sand to keep it from really stirring up. Tap that a few times to level it out. We have our pots. Now all that is we add our plants. Whatever plants you want. You can throw stem plants in here. I'm going to be throwing crypts because that's what I want to pull out of this tank right now. But really, you can put whatever you want in here. Oh, all the way down in our new pots. Welcome over to the breeding rack. I'm on the bottom two shelves. This bottom corner is for celestial pearl danios, and over here are for pseudomugal signifers. These are grow outs on either side, but the signifers, I've noticed whenever I take their mops out, get really skittish. I wanted to add in just a few pieces of terracotta that give them some more hiding spots so they hopefully feel a little bit less stressed while I collect eggs. So we're going to do that, and we're going to add the crypts over into the CPD grow out tank. Coming over to our pseudomugal tank, you can already see them utilizing the cover to kind of hide away from me. It's just going to make them feel a lot safer, give them a lot more places to feel like they can go and get away, and should make them a lot more comfortable, also hopefully increasing egg production. But over here, while we don't have any fish in it, it's going to be great for when we do have some babies, because this is just going to be more space for microorganisms. The CPDs are going like crazy, and we've got that all set. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you're able to utilize terracotta in your tanks like I have. I hope this helps you save a few dollars and helps you along on your fish keeping journey. As always, I'm happy to help you out. Subscribe, hit the bell icon down below, and we will catch you in the next video. Thank you for watching.